So, welcome back. Now we are going to talk about the robots of the future. So, with robots, with the future, we always have the science fiction that helps to think about what's possible. And recently we had two different views displayed in two movies. One of them is Ex Machina, where a robot was shaped in human form, and she, on the end, was able to escape her enclosure. And on the other hand, we had her, where you had more or less invisible robot that was sitting in the clouds, talking in the ear of the main person, and learning with it everything about the human race on the end, also escaping, but then to outer space. So I think if we go into the future, say in 50 years, that the second image is far more reliable, and we will see a lot of invisible robots, but also merges of what we with it humans and with it robotic measures. So we're going with it towards intelligence in the cloud and cyborg with it hybrids. So what are the trends that live under that? If we see how the computer power approaches the brain power of the nature, you see that in 2020 we're already or on the mouse or on the monkey or even on the human level. Only we are not smart enough to use all that computing power to reach the level of the human. Although on certain parts of the human intelligence we already surpassed that. But what's the most important, say, message of the whole, say, singularity approach is that they say if you have different technologies and they come together and they evolve, then you really can have a very fast development. And what they see that in what they called in Epoch 5, that in a certain moment the human intelligence and the technology come together to make a new sort of epoch where we have a new sort of humanity, or even artificial humanity. So the trends that they foresee, and that's mainly by Kurzweil, is that we have the current trend that we can make more and more technology smaller and smaller. So we're building currently with it gears at the size of the molecular level. With it, the last Nobel Prize in the Netherlands was based on that. And at the moment that you can combine that with biotechnology, then you can make artificial mercury bioforce that can travel to your blood veins and starting to search for illness or repair things. And at the moment that you combine those technique with artificial intelligence, where with it you can do the search quite smartly, then you can really build a human race 2.0. So what happens if you see what happens with all those technology is this is the life expectancy. It's a bit cheating with numbers, because you have many ups and downs in this life expectancies. For instance, 1400 was the time of the past, so there was a small drop in the life expectancy. But what you see for sure is in the last century, the average lifespan has nearly doubled. And it's come mostly because everybody is gaining for that life expectancy, because say the rulers and scholars always had life expectancy of 60, 70 years, but now everybody has the benefits from it. And what happens if you have such a nanotechnology that can repair yourself in your blood veins, and that you live for 160, 200 years, then you can gain a lot more wealth, but also a lot of more knowledge, a lot of more things. So we have to think about how the daily life in a Western city would look like in 2030. That's a near future, but how will it look like in 2050 or even on the end of the century? So in the book from Arkin, he made several suggestions about what are nice things to think about them. I highlighted actually two of them. And one of the things what I'm really interested in is what are the ecological niches where robots can really compete and survive. So we saw already in space where it's quite hard to send astronauts. So at the moment you have capable robots. They are the ones that should explore space for us or build a colony on Mars for us. I think that I haven't highlighted here, but raised by Arkin, is what further is possible in exploiting expectations and knowledge about the world in getting information for the world. So how can you use, say, Wikipedia to make predictions? But what is really a thing what I want you to think about is how you could get more bio-inspired robots, and that you can think of, say, the bio-inspired robots of the future that make use of the inspiration from nature to make even better robots. So in the course that I give at the University of Amsterdam, we ask you to make an essay. I published 4 chapters of the Springer Handbook of Robotics. One of them is Behavior-Based Systems, so that's a summary of the book of Arkin. In the chapter of bio-inspired robots, you can find those Fringe robots where we talked about previously. How to combine the information that you get to actions via neural nets is in the chapter about neurorobotics. And if you want to think about the implications, socially and ethical, with automating a large part of society, then the role of ethics chapter is for you the one to go. So you have to make an essay in IEEE style, and you can use the downloads below. And that will be graded in the same way as the mini thesis in psychobiology is graded, but with a slightly different weights. So I want to thank you that you stayed with me till the end. I've given lectures about 10 different chapters about Arkin, and I hope that you also like to work with the practical side of it, and in that case, that is how to make a robot find its way through a maze and find the light on the end of the tunnel. Okay, thank you very much, and hope to see you once.